Welcome back. A top TSA official says airport delays are only going to get worse as this shutdown drags on. One DHS official saying smaller airports could have to temporarily suspend screening operations if staffing keeps dropping. More than 10% of TSA officers skipped work last Sunday. That's 5 times the normal rate. More than 360 officers have quit since the shutdown began, and we're seeing the consequences of these staffing shortages with long lines at places like Houston, New Orleans, and Atlanta. Spring break travel is compounding this crunch with officers still working without pay. Meantime, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers remain far apart on a deal. Democrats pushed ahead again on Thursday to fund most of the DHS agencies, but they excluded ICE and Customs and Border Protection. Republicans blocked that measure. Because of that, Senate Majority Leader John Thune now says he will cancel recess if lawmakers cannot strike a deal. So where are they on this deal? Let's check in with congressional correspondent Kilmeny Duchardt, who joins us live from Capitol Hill. She had a chance to talk to the Senate Majority Leader. And what did he say, Kilm?
John, good to be with you. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune ramping up the pressure on Democrats and Republicans right now to get a deal done. In my conversation with him, he accused Democrats of putting politics over the safety and security of the American people. Do you think that that's going to be enough pressure right now to get a deal done?
Well, it should be. I mean, I think that Democrats, for 35 days now have kept the department shut down. The White House and Republicans have tried repeatedly, reached out, sent them offer sheets. One offer sheet it took them 18 days to respond to. They don't seem serious. I think they think this is a political winner for them, but it's a losing issue for this country and for the American people. So there was a meeting yesterday. Tom Homan showed up. And, they put all the issues on the table, and it's going to be up to Democrats now to see whether or not we're going to find out whether they're serious real quick here, because if they don't respond today with some sort of a counter proposal or at least a willingness to get back at the table, I think it suggests that they want to continue to play politics.
Well, and one positive sign, John, this key group of Democrats, they were the ones that actually voted to reopen the government during the last shutdown. They're part of these very critical negotiations. We know that Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, he stood up as what he describes as the lone Republican seeking to fund DHS. He's urging his colleagues to do the same. Obviously, you mentioned the House proposal, that discharge petition aimed at passing DHS funding while stripping out ICE and CBP funding. That's a non-starter for Republicans. So we'll see what happens with this test vote shortly, but we'll see, of course, if that increases the pressure even more to move the chains here. John.
All right. Everyone wants to get back into their districts for recess. They do some work on recess sometimes, fundraising and the like. So that's they're not just
nothing
hanging
like
out.
The smell of jet fumes to get some motivation going around here, John.
Yeah, the jet fumes they might be missing out on. Kilm, thanks so much. Great to see you. Yeah. Well, we mentioned travelers being forced to show up even earlier for their flights to get through these long TSA lines. We wanted to find out more about what they were thinking, so Newsmax headed out to LaGuardia Airport to check it out.
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are torturing Americans with long lines at the airport. And why? All to protect criminal illegal aliens from being deported.
The line was long as hell.
Did you have a long line?
Yes.
We have video from Atlanta. It was insane this morning. You were there today?
Yeah, I was.
How long did you wait?
I actually left because I missed my flight because it was so long.
That's all because of this guy right here. Chuck Schumer, who refuses to fund DHS. It's this guy's fault right here, Chuck Schumer.
Yes. Definitely.
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats refuse to fund DHS.
That's not Chuck Schumer, is it?
That's Chuck Schumer right there.
I thought he had more hair than that.
There's so many lines all over the place, all because Chuck Schumer wants to protect criminal illegal aliens from being deported.
That's untrue. You know that, right?
But he's not funding DHS.
That's okay.
Thank God they're not letting the SAVE Act pass. Holy I think they should hold that line harder, man.
They don't want criminal illegal aliens deported from the country.
Right, correct. Definitely. And it affects everybody, and it's not fair.
It's all because the Democrats refuse to deport criminal illegal aliens.
Really?
People who are being deported actually aren't criminals.
Can you name one person that you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, there are tons of them. I mean, yes, people in my community. Well, no, I can't give you one name because it's just like, it's like your neighbors next door.
What's your message to Chuck Schumer if he's watching?
Never did the right thing, not doing his job, replace him.
Please retire, Chuck Schumer. Let anybody else do your job. That'd be awesome.
There you go, Brent Constantino, that producer out there at LaGuardia Airport. Let's welcome in Jason Rantz, host of the Jason Rantz Show. Jason, one of the things that I find myself thinking when I watch this stuff play out is you realize the unholy marriage that exists between the federal government and the airline industry and how dependent on subsidies and all this other stuff that the airline industry is when it comes to the feds. And now we have complete chaos.
Yeah, and it's chaos by design. This is intentional. Democrats are open about wanting to cause maximum pain, and they think they can get away with it. And in part, they usually do get away with it for two main reasons. Number one, you've got media outlets out there that carry water for Democratic talking points and continue to push this forward without placing the blame where it belongs. But number two, and we just saw in that clip, you still have some people who are totally okay with it. In fact, one of the women who said, yeah, they should hold it even longer and be even more recalcitrant in all of this. That's why they end up doing it. They don't feel any political pain. And, you know, I spent a lot of time traveling over the course of the last couple of weeks. I just got on a flight back home from New York yesterday, and I was talking to some of the TSA agents there. And, you know, the ones that I've spoken to, at least, they seem to know who's responsible for this, and they're not blaming Republicans.
Yeah. Even the Delta CEO apparently is quite frustrated at Bastian. He told CNBC that lawmakers need to do what they were, in fact, elected to do.
It's inexcusable that our security agents, our frontline agents that are essential to what we do, are not being paid. And it's ridiculous to see them being used as political chips. So, you know, we're outraged. You know, and if there's a call to action here, and I think over 90% of the American public support those people getting paid. Ask our folks right here in Washington to do their job.
That's basically it, right? They just got to do their job, but they refuse to.
Well, Democrats refuse to, right? I mean, and I get why the Delta CEO isn't going to specifically call out Democrats by name or Chuck Schumer by name, but they're the ones here. I mean, Republicans have come to the table. They've been at the table for a long time. They don't need to be at the table because we don't have to worry about funding really for ICE over the course of the next couple of years, but they still made the choice to do that in good faith, and the Democrats are rejecting them. We had the reporting of a couple of days ago, specifically additional details that Republicans are willing to give in on. They obviously got their way on the left to get rid of Kristi Noem. This is all performative. I was watching an interview with one Democratic lawmaker who said, yeah, this is a good start, but here's what we want. And then she listed off literally everything originally on their list. So that means they're not looking to negotiate. They're looking to hold a country hostage.
I don't know what's more dangerous is if these people are just straight up lying to the American public about this stuff, or if they are so dumb they don't actually know the truth. And I'm speaking specifically about Dick Durbin. But let's talk about this in the context of Senator Mark Wayne Mullen clearing his first hurdle to lead DHS. You mentioned Kristi Noem. She's out. They want to move Mark Wayne Mullen in. The Senate Homeland Security Committee advanced his nomination by a vote of 8-7. Chairman Rand Paul voted against him, wanted to make this some sort of personal vendetta, which was pretty sad, but also kind of funny at the same time. But Dick Durbin, as I mentioned, he said that someone is dying in custody every single week, if not more frequently. He calls that a crisis. This is not true. There's no evidence to support this, but yet it is getting circulated like it is the truth.
Precisely. And if they want the truth, they can go back to any other administration. The numbers are about the same across the board. There have been some cases in which you've seen a rash of this happening, I think mostly due to circumstances that are beyond the control of ICE. I mean, look, there are going to be deaths in custody. There are also going to be deaths of these people out of custody. Unfortunately, there's also innocent American citizens who are murdered as a result of some of these folks who are not in custody. Not in custody because of Democratic positions on wanting an open border and doing whatever it is they can to protect criminal illegal immigrants. That's also reality. And if he spent even a fraction of his time talking about the American citizens who are being murdered by criminal illegal immigrants, perhaps we can give him the benefit of the doubt and just say he made a mistake. But he didn't. He's choosing to lean into this. He's not the only one on the left who's using this talking point, and it is pretty pathetic. Yeah, it is pathetic to see them care a lot more about the criminals than they do about the victims when it comes to loss of life. It's unbelievable that they get away with that. Let's pivot and talk about the cultural icon that is Chuck Norris. We lost him just last night. The artist, the actor, the American icon. He died Thursday morning in Hawaii, 86 years old, just one day earlier. Sources say he had been working out and was in an upbeat mood. He served in the U.S. Air Force before winning multiple martial arts championships. And, of course, there were so many great Chuck Norris movies and Chuck Norris jokes as well about just how invincible he was. But this one hurts, doesn't it, Jason? This one stings, and this is someone who is popular and well-loved across all different generations, right? I mean, it depends on where you're coming from, maybe what your general knowledge base is of Chuck Norris. Some people maybe just know the memes. But you know what? That's okay, because he brought humor, he brought pride and patriotism into everything that he did. And, I remember, watching him as a kid. Shout out to one of the best movies he's done, which is Sidekicks. And he is all about the inspiration. So, yes, this one really stings. I hate that he only lived to the age of 86. Obviously, we'll find out a little bit more details on what caused this. But, yeah, when I saw this yesterday being reported, I was like, oh, please, we can't do this. And then, unfortunately, I woke up to the news this morning that he passed. This is one of those ones when the second you step foot in the office, everyone just kind of says, did you hear about Chuck Norris? It's just tough one. He was a devoted Christian, just an all-around great human being, and a sad loss for everyone. Chuck Norris, dead at the age of 86. Jason Rantz, we got more to go here on John Bachman Now. Thank you for being with us.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.